From Fort Ord, California, Private Ron Winger. From Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, Fred Lening. Two more of the world's greatest bowlers on championship bowling in a three-game match. From the Firestone Bowlerama Lanes in Akron, Ohio. From Akron, Ohio, it's championship bowling. This is Fred Wolf. We have two more of our field of 24, the world's greatest bowlers in weekly competition, going for a purse of over $70,000. This week, as usual, the winner receives $1,000. The loser, $500. 5 strikes in a row in any one game, $250, $50 additional for every additional strike. A 300 score worth $10,000. All competition sanctioned, of course, by the American Bowling Congress. These bowlers will each make another appearance. 2 appearances, total pins for the 6 games will qualify our 2 finalists for a $15,000 added purse during the final 2 weeks on championship bowling here in Akron, Ohio. Working with us this week from Seattle, Washington, Johnny Gunther. John, welcome, my boy.
Pleasure.
Well, being a former winner of championship bowling down Winston, I suppose you're kind of interested in what these two boys are going to do this week.
Well, I think we're going to have a real good match, Fred. They're one from the West Coast, one from the East Coast. One's a little on the heavy side. One's a nice, slim, trim, youngster.
Yeah, Uncle Sam's got him in good shape right now.
Got him a nice haircut, you know. But I think it's going to be a real good match.
Fred. Really do. A couple of real powerhouses.
Yes, that's right.
All right, John, you stand by. We'll get this one underway. Let's meet these two fellas from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, Fred Moose Lening. Frederick, Brian. Right in close here. I'm going to have you meet your opponent. I'm sure you know him. Uncle Sam let him loose here. Let's bring him in. Private Ron Winger from Fort Ord, California. Come on, boy. Does the sergeant know you're out?
Yes, he does. In fact, he gave me explicit orders to shoot good or I'll be in trouble.
Or else they'll put you in the who's guy. Well, you got a pretty tough cookie here. I know you've seen him bowl before. Have you ever met him head-to-head like this?
Yes, we have in PBA National, among other PBA tournaments.
You know, he could be your daddy, so don't be too rough on him, will you?
Well, I'm going to be as rough as I can.
Rough as you can, Freddie? What are you going to...
I hope that's not too rough.
You're going to spank him, I think. We're ready now for the first game. Akron, are you ready? Let's give him a little encouragement. We'll be off. All right, boys. Good luck. It'll be Ron Winger, the youngster from Los Angeles, starting on the left side. Fred Lening won the toss. Fred wants to finish on the left side the first and third game. That puts Winger on the left. All games starting on the left. Winger throws. He doesn't get there. The 1-2-10, the washout. Private Ron Winger, sporting that haircut that Uncle Sam has made so famous. Working with us, Johnny Gunther. John, I think you had a haircut like that a while back, didn't you?
A few years ago, yes, Fred.
1-2-10. The AMF Spearmaker indicates the ball getting across the 1 toward the 2, and there's a beautiful shot. Nice shot. Now, making a shot like that in the first frame can do a lot, John, wouldn't you say?
I think that would loosen you up quite a bit, Fred.
Having an open in the first frame can put you under a lot of pressure. Lening, the man with the big turn. He sets one, and look at that. Solid 8-pin. Well, these boys were working out for 2-3 hours here before the show got underway. We didn't see any solid 8-pins, did we, John?
I haven't,
What happens?
When the lights come on, things change a bit, but that was an awfully good hit. Fred let that ball roll real good. Honest tap.
At the 8-pin. Lening covered. So Fred moves to the left. Lening, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, actually resides in Yardley, Pennsylvania. a member of the Professional Bowlers Association. He's a proprietor, also a recreational director in Fairless Hills, PA. Has 4 daughters and 1 son. Be careful, on the nose, 6'10". Fred is the only foreign-born of our entire field here of 24 of the world's greatest bowlers. Fred was born in Dortmund, Germany. Came to the United States when he was just a couple of years of age. Started bowling in 1950 after a great semi-pro baseball career. There's a pick, the 6 off the 10. Actually, he was a pretty good football player, too. He was a catcher in baseball. He was a halfback and a great kicker in football. He'll tell you he just is so surprised to think that he has become a great star in so relatively short experience that he's had. Not much time, a few years, and here he is, a big-timer, and let's see if Mr. Winger can make 2 of these in a row. Haven't seen 2 of these in a row in a long time, John.
That ball really sailed on him. I talked to Ronnie, and he said he was going to try to throw the ball a little bit easier in the match, cut the speed down a little bit, and those first 2, of course, maybe a little bit nervous. The first couple of shots, he had quite a bit of speed on those.
His tendency is to throw too hard, isn't it? Will it be another one? Hurry up. Almost got it off the kickback. So both boys have an open frame early here in the first game of 3. Championship bowling coming to you from Akron, Ohio. Johnny Gunther, the Seattle West Coast star, sitting in with us this week. This is Fred Wolf, along with our statistician, Sam Trophy, the pro here at the Bowlerama in Akron. Winger in the 3rd. Throws. Almost had 3 in a row. Now the 1-2-4. It's about time that Ronnie hits that head pin, John.
Well, my opinion is maybe he should stay where he's at, but cut the speed a little bit and let that ball roll. I think which he will do, I'm sure.
It's like you say, when they turn the lights on, things change. This fella had 6, 7, 8 in a row in practice. Now he's trying to hit the head pin. There's the cover. So Winger now is 26 spare. Fred Lening 27 in the 2nd, and the Moose from Fairless Hills steps in on the right side. Back in 1963, Fred Lening shot his first sanctioned 300 score. Just like that. And from May through December of 1963, after he got his first one, by December he had 4 sanctioned 300 scores. In fact, he shot 1 in the New Jersey Open in the Professional Bowlers Association Tour. Doesn't bowl in too many events, but you'll find this fella up there in the money brackets pretty regular. We're in the 4th. There it is. There's a double. So Lening now beginning to pour them in. He has a double going for him, and Ron Winger, the young private from Fort Ord, California. They call him Wing Ding out on the West Coast. Born in 1941 in Preston, Idaho. Moved to Los Angeles when he was just a little baby. There, we're going to hit it. There we are. Here's a big smile on Ronnie's face. That ought to make the sergeant happy back there at Fort Ord. We're going into the 5th. Winger with his first strike. That's the first time he hit the head pin in 4 frames. Ron will tell you that his idol is Dick Weber. And there are a lot of footsteps there for Ron to follow. A double? Why not? Yes, sir. Ron Winger gets his double in a hurry. Both boys, first time they were working on a strike, made them both into doubles, and here's Fred Lening trying to make it a triple. The match is even. Lening will need this one to stay out in front. That ought to be there. 10 pins, so we're just about even. Both boys with a double, both boys with an open. We're halfway in the first game of 3. From Akron, Ohio, Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. Fred Lening, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, against Ron Winger from Los Angeles, California. So at the end of 5, Winger is 46 in the 3rd, works on 2. Lening is 76 in the 4th, with a spare in the 5th. Sixth frame, second game. Lening trying to get up there. He's there. Boy, look at that action. That could have been a four-bagger. Lening losing a 10-pin in the fifth on the double, and Winger now moves in on the right side. This young fellow was runner-up for the National Match Game doubles title in 1962. He and another youngster from Los Angeles, Davy Grooms, averaging .211 for 18 games on championship bowling. Will it be a triple? Yes, sir. Well, I guess we'll have to chalk up those first three frames to a bit of nervousness, John. No doubt about that.
Certainly has come back real good those last three balls. He's throwing real good.
Three in a row, in the pocket, deep. Will it be four? Could be. Oh, look at that, boy. Great thing. Well, he certainly doesn't look like the same fellow we looked at for the first three frames. Fred Lening now, with his hands full, he finds himself 10 pins behind this youngster. And Lening will need this one, or it'll be 20 pins. Lening is on a strike. Big lift. Here it comes. And there it is. So the boys are beginning to string them out now, and bonus money just around the corner. Winger's working on 4. 5 in a row in any one game. A $250 bonus. $50 additional for every strike on top of the 5. Lening, who had a double, a 10-pin solid, he come back with 2. He could be 5 right now. But he's got to start all over. We're in the 8th. Going for the triple. There it is. Fred Lening, they call him the Moose, never known to smile while he's working. And boy, he is working this week, and he's got his hands full with this youngster, Private Ron Winger, runner-up to Carmen Salvino on championship bowling in the Parkersburg, West Virginia series. Had a .279 game. His high 3 was .699. This is championship bowling in Akron, Ohio. $250 bonus. Why not? Yes, sir. Johnny, I've got to ask you a question here, because the way I looked at it, I don't think Ron was too sure of that one.
I didn't think that ball would get back to the to carry. I thought it would get back to the head pin all right, but I didn't think he'd ever carry.
Oh, yeah.
He really had the turn on that ball.
Something hit that 7-pin way up in the neck. So he's on 5. A great string here now for the youngster from California. And the boys at Fort Ord out there must be happy to see this kid string them out. His sergeant said, bowl good or else. One more. Come in. Oh! Look at that action. Boy, there was some great action. He must have thrown half of the pins over at that 7-pin. They were fighting to get at that one. Beautiful action. 2 strikes in a row. So he has $250, $300, $300 right now, and he has 3 more to go. Lening is in there. Well, now Fred Lening moves to the left, and it looks like we have both boys going for bonus money now. Winger's already established his. He's on a string of 6. Lening needs this one. Lening will strike out first, or at least he'll bowl out first. He'd like to strike out. We'd like to see him strike out for $246. $250 on this one. Will it be? It's got to hurry. Look at that. Boy, we have seen some real great balls here. Johnny, I think you'll have to admit those last 3 strikes have been just sensational.
Fred is a little bit slower than Ron, and yet he's throwing it way out on the lane and giving it a lot of room, a lot of turn. The ball's really tearing those pins up.
There's nothing like a real mixing strike. Solid strikes you kind of take for granted. Here's going to be another mixer. Another mixer. Oh, that 5-7 jumping all over the place, and Mr. Lening is matching Winger practically. In fact, Winger now has got to have his first strike to stay with Lening in the 240 bracket. If he does not get a strike in the 10th, Lening could be the winner by a pin or 2. But of course, it's 3 games, total pins for the $1,000. Both boys interested in every pin they can get to get that top 6 game total. And he's in there again and leaves the 4-7. He didn't even touch either pin. Freddie's a little surprised with that one. That was a $50 tap, but he got his 5 in a row. As a matter of fact, he got 6. So Fred Lening has picked up $300 in bonus money, And now the youngster from Fort Ord, California, Private Ron Winger. Wing Ding Winger from Los Angeles at 145 pounds is on a string of 6 in a row. He has earned $300. He has a chance to get $150 more. First one in the 10th. Too high. Fourth pin, just a bit tight. So the boys that had been shaking them up, giving them room, letting that ball do the work. Lening tried to fit his in the 10th, left the 4-7. Winger did the same thing and left the 4-pin. So it'll be 235, the count for Winger. 244 for Fred Lening. Both boys having one open frame. And that's coming back in great shape. Both boys were open in the second frame. Well, there's that thin hit. So the thin hit is certainly paying off this week here on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. This is Fred Wolf along with Johnny Gunther at the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world. Here are the scores for the first game, ladies and gentlemen, and what a great exhibition. Ron Winger, 235. Fred Lening, 244. How about that? Both boys getting 6 strikes in a row. They've both picked up $300 in bonus money. Lening leading by just 9 pins. We're ready for the second game of 3 from Akron, Ohio, Championship Bowling. Akron, are you ready? Fred Lening, the Moose from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, will start off the second game. A great start. Winger, 235. Lening, 244. On the Brooklyn side, he almost got away with it. The 6-pin up there. Freddie has rolled 739 on television up in Minneapolis. He had a 279 game on television in North Dakota. Known as the man that never smiles, tips the scales at 200 pounds, the father of 5 lovely children. Cover, and in steps the youngster from Fort Ord, California, Private Ron Winger. Likes to water ski, member of the Professional Bowlers Association. In 1963 on the PBA Tour, he finished 7th, his best finish in Spokane, Washington, Johnny Gunther's area. Look out, look out, he broke it up, nothing but the 4-pin. He won around $4,000 on the tour in '63, doesn't make too many events. Also was a finalist in the World's Invitational, a great event in 1963. You've seen this fellow bowl quite often, haven't you, John?
Yes, I have, Fred. I think he'll be one of the top stars of the nation after he gets through with Uncle Sam, and certainly he'll come out and follow his career in bowling.
Maybe he can get a job in one of the many establishments that Uncle Sam has around at all of the camps. He could give the majors some private instructions 4 or 5 days a week.
I'm sure he could help most anybody. He's a terrific bowler and for a youngster.
We're in the second frame. Both boys start with spares. Winger, the big turn. Oh, man, look at that ball. A lot of speed. This boy throws probably one of the fastest balls on the tour, doesn't he, John?
Yes.
Couldn't throw much faster than that.
He really wings that thing down there.
That's where he gets that nickname, Wing Ding Winger. Here's Fred Lening, the Philadelphia match game champion. 10 pins stops him. This fella's won a lot of great titles, especially in the East. '62, he was the Metropolitan New York Bowler of the Year. In '60, he won the Eastern Classic title, which is a big thing. He won the Philadelphia match game title twice. And he's been co-holder of the New Jersey State Doubles title twice. Won the Empire State Open on the PBA Tour in 1962 in Albany, New York. For the few events that Lening makes on the tour, they always know that he's there, John.
The amazing thing about Fred, to me, Freddie, is that the short time that he's been bowling, he's won so many major tournaments. I've been bowling as many years as he has, and yet he has quite a few national titles.
He started in 1950. There it is. So we still have a wing dinger going here. Lening now with 39 and a strike, as the youngster Ron Winger has a chance to take the lead for the first time. We're in the third. Winger on a strike. He dropped it, and he has the 4-7. He really let that one loose.
He lost that one, Fred, right off the hand. Just banged right on the foul line.
Ronnie was the 1959 Junior Bowler of the Year of Southern California. And 2 years later, he was the California State Masters champion, bowling against the big boys. There's the cover. So Winger was unable to get his double. And the young fellow moves to the left. In 62, averaged 218 in the Los Angeles Classic. He knows his way around, and as John mentioned, certainly a youngster. Great future for this fella. His only problem is throwing that ball a little too fast. A little tight, too tight. He has the 6-7, the first wide open split we've looked at. Looked at that 1-2-10 a couple times. Lening has picked the 6 off the 10. Winger missed the 1-2-10. He converted the 1-2-10 once in the first frame. He had 2 of them in a row. He started off with the 1-2-10 in the first and second frame. Watch it. Oh, he gave that one a great try. Goes by them both, and that's an open frame, and that gives Winger 66 in the fourth. Lening is on a strike, and the Moose from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, can go flying right from here. A strike here and another one in the fifth. He could pick up 30-some-odd pins. Look out. Little high, and he's wide open. The 4-10. Well, that's the opposite to the 6-7. What do you think happened to that one, John? It didn't look that bad.
Well, he set it pretty high, and he had a little more speed, I think, than he had before, and it just got up there, and it was peculiar action on the ball.
Lening takes one, and this match is still very close. Less than 10 pins. Winger is 66 in the fourth. Lening is 67 in the fourth. That makes it exactly 10 pins. Lening went in with 9. That's got enough room. That's the way they were throwing him the first game. You got to get it out and let it ride. Lening now with a strike in the fifth. Well, let's see if Ronnie can give it some room. He's been crowding. He had the 4-pin, the 4-7, and he hit the nose, left the 6-7. Get it out. That's out there. That's out there. So at the end of 5, we're just halfway. Winger is 66 strike. Lening is 67 strike. Moving to the left, young Ron Winger from Fort Ord, California. Private Winger, they call him out there. Trying for his first double here in the second game. That's enough room. There we are. So Ron got it out there, both in the fifth and sixth, and Lening moves in now on the right side. He's on a strike, and he'll need this one to keep the lead. If Lening does not get this strike, the match is even. He looks like he's got a chance at it. 10 pins solid. Oh, that hurt Lening. In fact, he looked like he was in pain there. Didn't he, John?
There's been a lot of those 10 pins left on lane 26. The ball looks like it's real good, solid, and still a 10 pin will stand.
Cross lane, the cover. Lening has the spare. You know, bowling can be enjoyed any time of the year, or for that matter, any time of the day. People bowl in the mornings, afternoons, evenings. Incidentally, any of you ladies or men who work odd hours, or say on Saturdays and Sundays with a day or two off during the week, why don't you take advantage of the slow midweek daytime period right at your neighborhood bowling center? Have fun, bowl. It's great. Get out of there. Well, Mr. Lening now with that solid 10-pin could be looking pretty good, but Ronnie now has the chance to move out. So at the end of 7, Lening is 107 on a strike as he watches Winger step up in the 7th, working on 2 strikes. Never get there, and there we look at another one, another washout. 1, 2, 4, 10. Ron has had the 1, 2, 10 twice. This time he's got company. Of course, the 4-pin doesn't mean much on this shot, John. The idea is to get it over there where the spare maker says, between the 1 and 2 pin. Think he can make it again?
I'd like to see a converted here.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Almost. Oh, just a little too fast. Almost getting it off the kickback. That was Winger's big chance to get out in front. It's a break, of course, for Lening. Lening is on a strike in the 7th. Winger is open in the 7th. Ron Winger, the youngster from Los Angeles. So he makes a slight adjustment and then hits the nose. In 1962, was runner-up in the American Bowling Congress Masters Tournament to Billy Golubieski in Des Moines, Iowa. Did quite a job in that event. He won 10 matches in a row at the 6-pin. Winger covers, and Fred Lening now has got to make the big pull. Lening opened with 244. He's interested in total pins. Both these boys will be making another appearance. Each bowler appears twice. Total pins for their 6 games and their 2 appearances will qualify the 2 finalists with a $15,000 added purse. Lening, big turn. Here it comes. And he's got the double. Right down on his knees. He still didn't smile, John.
He's really working for that bonus money, I think, Fred.
Well, he's got room. Both boys had 6 in a row. The first game, they have both already picked up $300 in bonus money. Will it be? 10-pin out of there. Nice hit. So Fred Lening from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, beginning to run away from the youngster from Los Angeles, Private Ron Winger. He dropped it right in the pocket. 4-pin. 4-pin, just a little too tight. Seemed to drop that one again.
He set that one real short, Fred.
So the margin here, right around 40 pins. Winger at the 4-pin. Winger now moves left in the 10th frame of the 2nd game. Ronnie, who had a string of 6 going, 4th through the 9th, left a solid 4-pin in the 10th in the first game for 235. In the 10th, it's out, too far, almost another 1, 2, 10, and he's missed the head. Well, he hit the head pin, John, but it didn't go down.
On those shots, he's drifting quite a ways to the left with his feet, Fred, and then with that speed that he has, if he gets it out just a little bit too wide, it starts to sail on him and slide by that head pin real easy.
1, 2, 4. He covers it very nicely, as the AMF spare maker indicated. The ball going between the 1 and the 2 pin, and the count will give Winger 176. Lening still sitting on a 227, which would give the Moose from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, about 480 going in. Winger throws. He doesn't get there again and leaves the 2 and the 5 for 174. These pins, AMF registered tournament grade pins, hand selected. They're not as easy to knock down as you might think. All matched weights. on 3. Lening going for 4. And there it is. So Lening now has his second opportunity for bonus money. He finished with 6 in a row the first game. So here he has a chance for 2 more. This one starts as $250. He can be 1 short of his string of last game. 4 in a row. $250. He sets it there, and he leaves a solid 10 pin for $250. Oh, boy. You can't hit him any better than that, John.
There's no explanation, Fred.
You get a piece of it. You get a wiggle out of it. And the AMF pin spotter has put the wiggle right back on it, but that doesn't help Mr. Lening. Oh, man, he had that one in there at the 10 pin, and he covers it for $216. In the second game, Lening $216, Winger $174. 1 game to go. Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show, coming to you from the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, the home of the Professional Bowlers Association. Here are the scores at the end of 2 games. For Ron Winger, 235 and 174. His total is 409. For Fred Lening, 244, 216. The total is 460. Lening missing bonus money again with a solid 10 pin in the 10th frame. You ready for game number 3? Akron, here we go. It'll be Ron Winger from Los Angeles, the old wingding private Ron Winger from Fort Ord, California, trailing by 51 pins, reaches out, sets that ball a little on the nose. He has the 310. Nothing little on the nose. That was really in the middle, was it, John?
He's having quite a bit of trouble here the last game. He was on the nose with a lot of balls, wide with a couple of them.
He gave us quite an assortment of leaves in that second game. He had a 6-7 split. He had the washout again. That's the 3rd washout he's had. A 4-pin, 6-pin. He missed the head pin, the 1-2-4. And he converts to 310. Very explosive type of a bowler. This kid can break loose at any time. I'm sure Lening is aware of that. Fred Lening leading by 51 pins. Couldn't be much more than that. He left a solid 10 for bonus money in the 10th. On 4. He's right back in there. Oh, look at that. Just a little late, getting a nice kick. The 6-pin, getting that 10-pin out of there in great shape. So Fred Lening moving left now. The man that never smiles. Winner of the Empire State Open in Albany, New York on the PBA Tour. Dig that one. Oh, look at that. Grind them up. Oh, that's a lot of ball, isn't it? That's a pretty deep angle to be playing, isn't it, John, you think?
Yes, of course his speed compensates for the angle that he is playing, Fred. He's a long ways in, but yet he's nice, soft speed, which gives that ball a good chance to roll.
Tell you, those AMF tournament grade pins really go a-jumping. Ronnie's moved in a little bit. He's doing a little fishing. Looks like Lening has pulled Ronnie inside.
Possibly Ronnie doesn't get too much of a chance to practice either, being in the Army. I'd rather doubt whether he has too much time to been out practicing.
Covers the 2. Winger now moving left. 18 spare. Lening is on 2. Lening 460 for his 2 games. A 240 will put him in the 700 bracket. Here's the youngster from Los Angeles, Ron Winger. That's better. There we go. So Ronnie has 1 way to go. He's got to start that long string. And Fred Lening now on 2, thinking of bonus money again. I'm sure he should have had it in the second game. Let's see if he can get it in the third game. Both boys have already won $300 in bonus money. They had 6 in a row in the first game, and Mr. Lening is too high. A little too slow, I'd say, John.
Yes, he knew he had pulled that ball or been a little slow with it. It was going to go high.
So there's life for Winger. 51 pins going in. There's the spare. Lening has a double. Winger has 2 spares and a strike. So actually, it's 61 pins with 7 frames to go. There it is. Well, I think Freddie's just a little bit disgusted with what happened in the 3rd frame. He pulled that one a little bit, but he's right back with a strike. And now the youngster from Los Angeles, Ron Winger, on a strike. He's got to have this one. And about 4 more if he's going to catch Lening. Come on. Hey, got it out of there. That 10 pin still very stubborn. And John, that was a pretty good kick, I'd say, on that 10 pin.
He nudged that 10 pin real nice. Several of the bowlers haven't been able to do that, and I think that is a key hit to keep a string going out here, is to be able to nudge that 10 pin out of there like Ronnie just did.
We're in the 5th. Last game of 3. Ron Winger on 2. Big turn. Too high. 4-7. Well, I'm sure Ronnie knew that was no good the minute he let it go. You know, from disaster relief activities to blood donations to first aid, your Red Cross is always there. Make a contribution to the Red Cross. Better yet, donate your services to this organization. The cover by Winger. Lening moves in on the right side on a strike. Now he was a little high here in the 3rd on the double. He's away. He's away, but he was right in between, and that, of course, is what they call the nothing hit, isn't it, John?
That's that half pocket hit where he just weak 10.
Weak 10. This fella can really send them flying when he's thin. Solid he can carry, and of course that in-betweener is pretty hard for anybody to carry that one. So at the end of 5 here in the 3rd game, it's practically even. Winger is 86 spare. Lening is 88 spare. Fred Lening, the Moose, throws. Doesn't get there. The 2, the 5. The 5 is out, nothing but the 2 pin. Here's a fella that never threw a bowling ball until he was 28 years of age. That was in 1950. What a job he's done. At the 2 pin, the cover. Each man bowls 2 frames. Each game starts on the left side, and competition moves from our right to the left. And a great finish in the first game. Both boys finishing with 6 in a row. On the nose, breaks up the 3-10, nothing but the 3 pin. This youngster was runner-up to Carmen Salvino, very colorful Chicago star in the Parkersburg, West Virginia series of championship bowling. Had a 279 game. His high 3 was 699. 145 pounds. There's the cover. So we move into the 7th. Winger 105 spare. Lening is 107 spare. The margin overall, 53 pins. Lening has them 4 frames to go. Lening would like about 2 more doubles in here, a triple. Get him up into the 470 or 480. 680 bracket. He's 460 for 2. Too high. He has the 310 again. Left the 310 in the first frame. Converted it. I think Ronnie has the same tendency that you have, John, to rush that line a little bit. Just missed it. A little too much of the 3 pin, and Winger is open. Lening now should be able to coast home, but Lening, I'm sure, interested in pinfall. 2 appearances. Total pins for 6 games. Qualifies our 2 finalists. Look out! 4th pin. Just a little tight. Well, Fred tried swinging over here on the right side the last time, and he came in between. A soft 10, as you mentioned. This time he thought he'd line it in, and he just got up there too high. 4 pin he covers. Lening now got himself about 60 pins out in front. Think Fred can pick up a double or triple here yet, John?
I think so. He's been real close with every ball.
That's out there. Oh, that's the ball. Oh, he gave that one a lot of room.
A lot of room, a lot of turn, and good thin action on that ball.
So Lening now sitting on a 236 and still has a chance to cash in for bonus money again. Winger in the 8th, reaches, sets, goes, and looks at the 4 pin. It's a very peculiar action there. 2-3 pins on the deck, leaving a 4 pin. That speed can cause a lot of funny things back there.
I think that's been the whole match here, Fred, is the difference in speed between Fred Lening and Ron Winger. Fred with that real slow speed and ability to carry that real thin hit and nudged that 10 pin quite a few times, although he's lost a lot of good 10 pins too.
We go into the 9th frame. Ron Winger trailing by some 65 pins. A finalist in Parkersburg, West Virginia, losing the title to Carmen Salvino. Now Fred Lening with the big 9th frame strike. And boy, this one's twice as big because he's on one in the 8th. Come on, boy. Now we go over to the left side in the 10th and another chance for bonus money. Fred still has room. 3 strikes, $250. Both boys have picked up $300. They both had 6 in a row in the first game. Lening had 4 in a row in the second game and then left a solid 10 pin in the 10th. Careful. Too high. Too high. Leaves nothing but the 6 pin. Well, that'll give the big fellow from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, around 675. And that just may mean that another good 680 or 70 might qualify him for the finals. We may see some more of this fella. There's the 6 pin. The count will give him 215. Winger can go all the way for 212, which would give him 621. Ron will need the real big one in his other out. That's what he meant to do. There's that thin hit, and he didn't get the 7 out. 214. 214 and 674 for Fred Lening from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania. And the last frame for Private Ron Winger, Fort Ord, California. He's on a strike. That's room enough. There it is. Well, I guess when you're young, like Ronnie is, you can fly around like that.
Run him out and have a
run him out. Yep. Very interesting here. I would almost be sure that Ronnie has been bowling longer than Fred Lening has. Started when he was just a youngster.
It's very possible.
There it is. He's going to get out of this one pretty good. So Ronnie with the first 2 here. He'll be 1 short of bonus money. He had a strike in the 9th. He'll have 4 with this one. But he had an open frame in the 7th, was unable to find the pocket. Throughout this game, most of the way. He did catch a double in the 3rd and 4th. In the second game, he was completely lost. There's a solid 10 pin for 211. So Winger, 211, Lening 214 in the third and final game. We'll check these totals, have a word or two with these two fine stars. And thanks to Johnny Gunther for sitting in with us here this week on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show from the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, where the World Series of Golf is played every year. Here are the official scores for Private Ron Winger from Fort Ord, California. 235, 174, a 211 finish, the total 620. For Fred Lening from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, 244, 216, 214, the total 674. Did you enjoy this one, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see, we'll have to check out the rest of the books here. Fred, you won $300 in bonus money, almost 250 more with a stubborn 10-pin in the second game. Ronnie, you won $300 in bonus money. You both had 6 in a row in the first game. So let's pay the bonuses first. $300, take that back to the sergeant. $300 for you, Fred. $500 as the loser. $1,000 as the winner. Fred, with 674, we just may see you around here in the finals. If the boys are a little, the boys slack off a little bit.
If they cooperate a little bit, I'll be back.
Cooperate a little bit. Ronnie, for you, it means got to have another big total if you want to be a finalist again.
Got to shoot a big one, I can see that.
All right, I think you can do it, too. I just looking up there, Fred, you had 19 strikes, and Ron, you had 15. Only 4 strikes difference, but you lost by some 54 pins. Missed a head pin too many times, didn't you?
Yes, I'll tell you that those last 3 balls, the ball really got lighter, I'll tell you that.
Got lighter. All right, I want to wish you both a lot of luck. Hope to see you again on Championship Bowling. Fred Lening, Ronnie Winger, let's give them both a nice hand, boys. Good luck. Everybody listens when an All-American talks, and wherever she goes, on instructional tours all over the country, crowds will gather to listen to this All-American, Esther Woods. How are you, Esther? Welcome.
Nice to see you and be back here again, Fred.
What have you been doing lately?
Well, I've been concentrating real hard on work with school children. You know, even though this game of bowling is easy, you'd be surprised how quickly the boys and girls pick it up.
Now, I understand, and I'm sure you would know this, that they are teaching bowling in gymnasiums around the country in schools.
Yes, that's very true, Fred, and educators are beginning to realize that bowling is the perfect sport. Number 1, it's a recreational activity where people can participate in it for the rest of their lives. Girls as well as boys, and women as well as men. And speaking of women, you know, this is one game where they can participate on the same basis as men. In fact, that handicap system has taken care of that.
And that handicap system also, they can bowl in the rain or in the shine, winter or summer. You don't worry about a thing. You can always bowl.
That's right, Fred. You know, you're getting in the picture now. Well, you know, the teenagers are finding out, too, that this is a perfect game for a date. They sure have a lot of fun. Fred, let's watch a teenager bowl here who has had a few lessons. She's in the strike position, taking the 4-step approach. She went over that second arrow.
Well, almost.
Well, that's not too bad, was it?
Well, I'd say this, Esther, if they're going to teach bowling like this in school and have pretty girls like that in school, I think I better go back.
Oh, all right,
As
Fred.
a teacher.
Maybe I'll run into you somewhere along the line while I'm instructing in the schools.
Thank you. That's fair enough, Esther Woods. Thanks for joining us here again on Championship Bowling. Good luck. Try to join us again here next week on television's #1 bowling show, Championship Bowling. We come from the Firestone Bowlerama in Akron, Ohio. Each week you see 2 of the world's greatest bowlers in match game competition, over $70,000 in prizes, all competitions sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress. A 300 score worth $10,000. In the finals, when we bring back our 2 top scorers for their 2 appearances, we will have a $15,000 added purse. $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the runner-up. That'll be the final 2 weeks on Championship Bowling here in Akron, Ohio. Repeating the scores for this week, Fred Lening, 674, $300 in bonus money. Ron Winger, 620, $300 in bonus money. That's about it for this week. This is Fred Wolf. See you next week on Championship Bowling, and just reminding you once more that you don't have to play a sport good to be a good sport. Matching shirts and slacks used on Championship Bowling by King Louie. Championship Bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us to produce Championship Bowling.